Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Ashley McDowell. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. Students go into lockdown at one high school. We tell you why. Also tonight, PSS clarifies the future of teacher salaries. And solutions are presented for a long-time issue on island. In sports, girls high school hoops hop from regular season to postseason. 'Tis the season. Stay with us. These stories and more are next.
The phone you want now on the best network and a plan that gives you endless data on chat, social, and music apps. Tell your Docomo Pacific rep you want now with access. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Half a day, Tirawami, and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, January 8th, 2020. An email threat sends Cagman High School into lockdown this morning. School has been back in session for 3 days, and this morning at 10:15 a.m., students and staff went into lockdown at Cagman High School after a threatening email was received by the high school principal.
Everything's under control. I can't really comment on any specifics, but we did receive an email threat, and we always take anything seriously. So we followed our protocols and conducted a lockdown. We are currently working with investigators and DPS to work out the details, but it was a successful lockdown, not a drill. Fortunately, we worked quickly and we got it all under control.
The email was not addressed to anyone specific, but was sent by a student that has issues with the school.
What officers did find out was that the email was sent to the principal's office, or the principal's school email address, from a student email address. Officers, as well as the principal, also met with the student to check and ask if they had sent the email, but the student did not recall and did not claim that they did not send the email. Upon further investigation, officers did find out that the student, during that time the email was sent, was transitioning from one class to the other. So it was later found that the student's email was left open or logged into one of the public computers at the school.
The all clear was given around noon, but the investigation continued as the email was a gun threat.
The email was a very, very short email, and there's a short detail there that was considered a threat.
PSS Commissioner Alfred Atta says this kind of behavior will not be tolerated.
Whoever is involved, know that you will be caught, because FBI, it's a constitutional law. Bullying and the threat, especially when you have people's lives at stake, it's a big issue. It's a very big investigation, and they won't stop until they find.
FAA, FBI, and our local police are involved in the investigation.
There is a protocol, so Once we receive any kind of like negative, life-threatening situation, they call my office first, and then DPS, and then they take it further to FBI.
Commissioner says a lot of factors come into play when threats are made by students.
Sometimes may the student be unstable. Could the student be under incarceration with the DYS? Or is this student just undergoing some mental issue? Or just being his silly self? But he will be counseled along and punished for it.
Classes resumed at Cagman High, but many parents did not take the risk.
Your mom's here to pick you up and check you out. Even though the all fear is gone, there's no more lockdown. Why is she here if everything's okay?
She just doesn't feel comfortable, and like to be on the safe side, you know, like she wants to pick me up and take me out of here because like anything can happen, you know, just because it's clear and we don't know what's really going on in there. So I agree with her. I'd rather go home.
Last year at Saipan Southern, an active shooter threat was sent to a teacher via email that had students and staff on lockdown. No one was harmed.
My advice to all you guys, students, you're not gonna win. You will get caught. So if you're playing around or you're serious, don't even. Go find help. Go talk to someone. It's a matter that we don't take lightly at all.
The details of the email have not been released at this time. Reporting for KSPN, I'm Ashley McDowell. Talk has been going on around the island about cutting teacher salaries once again. Our Sally Lemus heads up to Capitol Hill to clear up some confusion.
There is no cut. No teacher's salary will be cut.
Commissioner of Education Dr. Alfred B. Atta confirms with KSPN there won't be any cuts to salaries to any PSS employees. And according to Press Secretary of the Governor Kevin Bautista, no request was made by the administration to cut the teacher salaries.
The administration, no one from the governor or the lieutenant governor, has specifically stated that there will be no cuts to teachers at all. Absolutely false. Whatever claims are being put in by the Board of Education is completely false. On Tuesday, the governor held a very productive meeting with Commissioner Atta and members of the board to go over the 2020 financial outlook, as well as going over collaborative steps to ensure that disbursement of funding to PSS for its teachers and students were moving forward in a prudent manner during this ongoing recovery period, as well as for the rest of the CNMI, because we are still in recovery period. But to be very clear, going back to your question, Sally, the governor and his administration have not made any mention of a cut to teacher salaries. For them to imply that the administration is advocating for a cut is completely false, and it's been blown out of proportion.
Yesterday, the PSS Board of Education met and discussed 3 separate austerity schedules that included reverting to previous compensation plans and an additional 25% cut to PSS employees. During today's meeting, Edward Tenorio, who is the budget consultant for PSS, says the austerity schedules are simply contingency plans.
This scenario that we're presenting, if the governor transmit a communication to the legislature saying we're going to cut the budget by 10%. So we're going to take that 10%, look at our budget and cut it proportionately across the board. But that thing is not happening yet. So we're not going to initiate any cut. If this is what we're presenting, it's a plan in the event that there's going to be a cut across the board.
Bautista explains to KSPN what was really discussed during yesterday's meeting with the governor.
What was specifically mentioned to the Board of Education and the Commissioner, from the Governor, from the Department of Finance, was to make adjustments to their administrative or central PSS payroll levels. So if there was going to be a misunderstanding about cuts to teacher salaries, that's not the case. What was actually conveyed to PSS was adjustments to the administrative or central PSS payroll levels, which right now, based off of their desired levels, are at the 2018 pay level. When we had a larger budget, when we had a stronger economy, and there was no Typhoon U2 to speak of. We want to make it clear that right now, PSS's current pay level is larger than their current budget level that's been allotted to them by the legislature, which is not at the 2018 level. You can't use a 2020 budget with a lower projected revenue for the rest of the fiscal year to fund a 2018 budget that has to pay for central PSS staffs and salaries.
Bautista states the conversation between the governor and PSS is that everything will be done to ensure full disbursement. The Department of Finance is also working hard to remit the full 25% due to PSS on a quarterly basis, but under the condition that more revenue is collected than transmitted.
The Secretary of Finance has explained to the Commissioner and his finance team that the first quarter allotment right now within fiscal year 2020 was based on first quarter revenue projections, which is right now at 23% of our annual revenue projection. So they're not getting the straight quarterly budget amount, but in the second quarter, the Department of Finance anticipates a 27% revenue collection. So the second quarter will have a higher monthly allotment than the first 3 months of the fiscal year, especially right now within the first 3 months of this fiscal year, where we're starting to see our tourism numbers become a little more steady. And then collection points in the second quarter usually gets that amount, and then we're able to push out to PSS as well as the other line departments and agencies within the Commonwealth government.
95% of the PSS budget goes to personnel, and Tenorio says if adjustments were to be made, salary cuts can be avoided.
There's always a trade-off someplace else within PSS, and that's what we're trying to do to avoid cut. If you're going to cut personnel, or not going to cut personnel, we'll cut someplace else. Or we bring in revenue from other sources to mitigate that cut.
Today, the BOE took a vote and decided that PSS will remain on a status quo and there will be no reduction in salaries. This is Sally Limis for KSPN News.
At the governor's office, we talk about New Year, but the same issues. One of the worst, littering. Sally Limis reports.
It's the start of a new year, and according to Press Secretary Kevin Bautista, the Office of the Governor will focus a lot on housing, education, and economic development. Just some matters that couldn't fully be done in 2019 due to the economic loss the Sinai suffered as a result of Super Typhoon Yutu. But one huge issue on island that the administration will not leave behind is the answer to beach litter, which causes stress to our tourism industry and environment.
2019 was a very challenging year for all of us, as you know. Not just austerity measures, but we had to put cost containment measures that really stymied our ability to get new people into the fray and get them into government jobs so that we can put people on the ground to help enforce a lot of our laws, as well as enforcing our littering law, which we've had since 1989.
As reported a few months ago, the Department of Land and Natural Resources stated throughout the time of austerity measures, manpower was a huge factor as to why enforcement on littering wasn't carried out more proficiently as desired.
When it comes to funding additional manpower in the future, that's obviously going to be something that we're working on.
In 2019, the government dealt with deficit problems, causing the administration to order a 15% cut across the department agencies, which didn't allow for new personnel. That was the implementation of hiring freeze in the Sinai.
Now that our finances being in a little more stable sense, but at the same time too, understanding that we're still fully recovering both in our economy as well as in our finances, we're very cognizant that we're trying to stretch every dollar to be as efficient as we can as a government, but at the same time being able to ensure that we fulfill a lot of our critical public services at the baseline, at least for now, and then expanding to making sure that those services become much more all-encompassing so that we can fulfill a lot of the interests and needs that our community has been asking us for.
Bautista says the additional manpower should also be properly trained and that the community should take it among themselves to be responsible citizens.
As a local, we also have a mindset problem of having to deal with not being able to clean up after ourselves. The human waste issues are always, it's a prevalent issue around urban and rural areas around the country, around the world. And we have the data to back that up. But at the same time too, our inability to properly fund our littering enforcement agencies, such as DLNR, BECQ, that was a challenge for us, for sure. And as a government, we understand that we got to do better in that regard. But at the end of the day, when we were trying to put additional manpower into these positions on the ground, the biggest thing for us is to ensure that they also have the proper training and the awareness so that they know how to reach certain areas that are not as heavily enforced in the past and be able to cover the entire island in a more efficient and larger scale.
Reporting for KSPN, I'm Sally Lemus.
Coming up, when it comes to shopping, many of us depend on Amazon. It's a giant business where a girl from the small Pacific island fits right in. That story follows the break.
Mom, are you sure? What about the shutters? And do you have your medicine?
Don't worry about us, love, okay? You take good care of yourself. Hi, my love. Yeah, sorry. The power went out, so I had to light up all the candles. Yeah. Yes, baby, yeah. I'm just glad our home phone's working and we're able to contact you.
Winigi PHI Pharmacy in Gofadahi, Ihinim Lomo.
Our complete line of pharmaceuticals and lowest prices ensure you get the treatment that you deserve.
Our compassionate, friendly, multilingual staff will take the time to get to know you, explain your medications to you, and answer any questions that you may have.
Ngere ayor sumaye uhalweres ren, kuchu wayor safeye emal ebalisiu tlalyam weres.
Inumin ang inyong gamot ayon sa inireseta ng inyong doktor at alinsunod sa bilin ng inyong pharmaceutical.
We accept most insurance, but in case you don't have coverage, we offer cost-effective generic drugs.
PHI Pharmacy, your lifelong partner in health. PHI, the pharmacy you can trust.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. What's it like working at Amazon? Rika Matsumoto, who grew up here, has joined the company at their main campus in Washington. More tonight as she sits down with our Chris Nelson.
What's the culture? What's it like working there?
It's really interesting. I love working at Amazon. It's really fun. It's very progressive, innovative, and we work really hard, really fast. It's definitely a different pace from the island, but it's really cool to work in a business that is kind of paving the way for innovation. That every day you never know what's coming in. You work with ambiguity, but you're also learning everything that's brand new, and you're on the front lines of that. So it's really fun, and also because it's a big corporation, you get a lot of different opportunities and benefits that come with it. So yeah, I love working there.
What's a workday like for you there? What's schedule-wise, and what's the pace of work like?
Well, I wake up at 5 a.m. because the commute's about an hour in, and then I go to my office, and you just never know what's happening. I work in the finance department in sanctions compliance, so every day there's something new coming in depending on what the policies are passed with the government. If a new individual sanctioned or an entity is sanctioned, my workday is just ambiguous and you just never know. And on top of that, Amazon is, it's so big and vast, and we're continuously acquiring different businesses and changing different directions of our business. So you have to be on top of everything and be able to direct and make sure everyone's compliant.
How do you communicate? What's the tool that you use to communicate throughout the day? Is it email? Is it some internal chat service? What is it that you
we use chat, we use emails. Nothing different from the day-to-day, I think. But yeah, a lot of emails I learned. Communication is key.
What time do you usually finish at the end of the day? How does that work?
So they're very relaxed with when you start and when you end, and also it also depends on the department that you work for. But as long as I meet the goal and put out all the flames that is on fire for that day, you are free to go whenever. Yeah, so I go in around 6, and then I can take off around 2:30, but sometimes the day is just so busy, you're there till 6 or 8 p.m. Yeah.
What's the coolest thing about working there? Like, what's the...
The coolest thing, it's actually what brought me into Amazon, is that you can bring your dogs. Yeah, there's a lot of dogs, and it's the best part, because you are working so hard, so fast, and it's a stressful environment for sure, and it really helps to be able to have a lot of four-legged friends around.
Way to go, Rika. She was a star player, by the way, volleyball at the GCA. All right, coming up, more good results from Paseo Stadium, and girls high school basketball roars into the playoffs. Here, KSPN2 Sports Roar, next.
Faster, easier to use. With live TV, recordings, video on demand, and streaming apps, all in a single place. When you're looking for something new, recommendations are tailored to you. Voice-powered, personalized results to find what you want faster. And the unlimited potential of smart home. The new experience from TiVo is here.
Starting January 6th, catch Team Cinemai's 2019 Road to the Obstacle Course World Championships on KSPN2, Monday through Friday night at 6:30, right after the Channel TV.
Snorkeling, kayaking, mountain biking, off-roading, go-karting, and great hiking. Choose Mariana's Trekking for great adventure tours. We have the greatest guides who always offer more. And our mascot Emma will guide you on some fun. Mariana's Trekking is great for everyone.
Buenas sports fans.
Buenas sports fans, the Micronesia Baseball Classic concluded round-robin play today at Paseo Stadium over on Guam. In the first game, Kosrae nipped Pohnpei 6-5 for their first win. Pohnpei drops to 0-3. Former CNMI All-Star R.J. Joe had 2 hits and 2 RBIs for the winners. Guam versus CNMI this afternoon. Both teams were 2-0. Mike Munoz started the game for Saipan. He pitched 4 shutout innings. Franco Flores relieved in the 5th. CNMI wins this one 5-0. A.J. Lizama, a couple of hits and a couple of RBIs. Now the two teams are going to play again. Guam's got 2 professional pitchers that they've been saving for Thursday. That's when CNMI and Guam plays. And then the championship is going to be on Friday. So they also have a pro that they've been waiting to pull out. They're going to pull out their ace in the championship. All right, girls high school basketball closed out its regular season yesterday afternoon. The championship tournament is coming up this weekend. Let's take a look at the play from yesterday.
Saipan Southern has the ball. Oh, not anymore. MHS1 steals it. Jamie Pangolina beats everyone back for that lay-in. Jamie, she's also on the NMI National Track Team. Maybe the fastest player in this league. She's a sprinter, perfect for this basketball court. Desiree Camacho with the steal, and it was Jamie. 6, Manta Rays, nada. The Lady Dolphins undefeated, and here's why. Look at their smothering defense. Sandre Camacho to Desiree Camacho for another layup. Bernadette Kinnegg. Terrible shot or brilliant pass to Elaine Fernandez. I don't know. I'm not a judge. More like a scorekeeper. Jamie, the bounce pass to Cedric. Easy does it. Cass Camacho rips down the rebound. She's a one-girl fast break, but the Dolphins quickly triple team her. force her into a bad shot. Camacho with the rebound. Ahead to Jamie, the handoff to Cedric. Another easy 2. Bernadette, the stop and pop. Sylvina Simram positioned for the rebound. She turns, scores! Manta Rays played them tough, but they came up short. MHS 22, SSHS 20. Also in their second game on Tuesday afternoon, the Lady Dolphins blasted Mount Carmel 35-13, finishing this regular season at 12-0, earning top seed heading into this weekend's tourney.
Here's the windup and the pitch.
I don't believe what I just saw!
Get your game and gear at Gold's Gym Saipan. Group exercise is a great way to get fit and then stay fit. For something high tempo, go for a ride with one of our instructors in our new spin room. Let's roll. Pilates improves flexibility, builds strength, and develops control and endurance in the whole human body. It also improves coordination and balance. And the Shake Cafe is a great place to stop by for a meal replacement or supplement. See you at Gold's Gym.
Traveling or laying over on Guam? Don't wait around. Zip into Guam Adventures at Zipline Park inside the Hilton Resort and Spa. Guides will take you through a series of zips, starting with a mountain course and then zip over the ocean with spectacular views of Tumon Bay. 6 zip lines in all deliver a thrilling experience, and it's family friendly, so bring the kids ages 6 and up. You'll love the security of double lines and a new braking system to make riding smoother. The towers are named after the islands in the Marianas. We call it the Island Hopper. Your guides will teach you what you need to know to soar through the jungle with a bird's eye view. Best of all, for residents of Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, you can book this experience at 20% savings. Log on to GuamAdventures.com and during checkout, use offer code HAFA20. Book it and zip it today. We'll even pick you up.
Hope you're enjoying our winter weather. Today's high only 84, the low 75 at the airport, 73 at my house. Humidity 70%, tomorrow partly sunny, isolated showers, northeast trade winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. High 86, low 76, seas 8 to 10 feet. Be careful of rip currents. Sunrise 6:45, high tide 7:41 in the morning, followed by low tide at 12:50, sunset at 6:02. And that'll do it for our midweek edition of the KSPN2 News. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you back here tomorrow night.